The time has not come yet, sir. 1950 AD, the date you read or hear these lines. This is a message sent by a demonist named Spy through the ether, to an unknown person, on an unknown network, at an unknown frequency. Sir, it has been a long time. Our hearts, senses, and souls long for you. The time has come, sir. Everything has become as you wanted it to be. We did everything you taught us to do, sir. And we succeeded. We have succeeded, our great and mighty one. We have succeeded, and now there is nothing left but to see you. There is nothing left but to extinguish the fire of longing in hearts melted by the cruelty of waiting. Eras upon eras. Has the time not come yet, sir? Everything you commanded us to do, we did as you commanded. I remember all your teachings in detail. Your knowledge has no limits. I remember how humans during World War II invented a huge device the size of several rooms and called it ENIAC. I remember, sir, how you taught us that these humans are fools and commanded us to present to them their hideous and enormous device in a silicon chip no larger than a fingernail, a chip they called the processor. I remember their happiness as they thought that what happened was their own idea. And how for the first time in their lives they managed to create a smart device the size of a TV, a device they called the computer. They used the computer in their companies and for their useless, stupid calculations. Then you commanded us, sir, and we executed your command. You taught us, sir, and we applied your knowledge. You commanded us to introduce the computer into every house in the world. And you taught us how to do that by developing programs with an attractive interactive interface. Programs you taught us to call windows, to be, as the name suggests, a window from the house, a window to the inside, not to the outside. And other programs you taught us to call Macintosh, a name borrowed from a Scottish family with the same name, which in Scottish means son of the leader, a name that accurately refers to you, for you are our leader, and the son of our leader. What vast knowledge you have, and what great light you possess, sir. The computer in every home was a storage device where people kept their documents, pictures, and videos. On a military level, transferring information from a computer in one country to another in a different country was done manually. Then you, sir, favored us and taught us to teach them how to connect multiple computers through telephone lines. Thus, the U.S. Department of Defense, DARPA, created the first network to transfer military information and called it ARPANET. They think they are smart, but they don't know that you, sir, are the greatest teacher. ARPANET initially connected 4 devices on the west coast of America, then it expanded to connect hundreds of devices inside and outside of America, including devices in military institutions and universities. However, due to differences in the systems of these devices, these foolish humans found themselves unable to transfer information in almost half of the cases. Here, you commanded us, sir, and taught us to inspire them with your knowledge. So we inspired them with a universal language that all devices around the world could understand, a language they called HTML. We also taught them how to give each document or image they wanted to transfer a unique address, an address they called a URL. This allowed them to transfer anything from any device to another device quickly. A computer in France could now view a picture on another computer in America just by typing its address. This was a great breakthrough for their civilization. The network soon included hundreds of thousands of devices around the world, and anyone could access it as soon as they connected their computer to the telephone line. They called this great breakthrough the Internet, which is actually the grandchild of ARPANET. At that point, we knew the time for playing was over, and the time for seriousness had begun. As soon as someone connects their device to the Internet and it shows that their device is now connected, their location is precisely determined by us. We then flow into their device like a river and start searching for their documents, their personal files, photos, and important documents without them realizing it. We thought that with this, we had achieved everything we wanted, but you taught us that this was only the beginning. We listened to you in amazement as you explained what we should do next. How brilliant you are, sir. How truly brilliant. You taught us how to convince the person accessing the internet to trust certain websites and to deposit more of their secrets there. Initially, we introduced them to email services like Hotmail and Yahoo, where they log in with a unique username and password, believing that no one else can access their emails. Little do they know that all their messages, both incoming and outgoing, are stored with us. We read everything they wrote and received, but you taught us that this still was not enough and that we needed more. We introduced them to programs that allow them to talk to others anywhere in the world, messaging programs or messengers like MSN, Yahoo Messenger, ICQ, and MIRC, which they called chat programs. Each person spent most of their time on these chat programs, talking about trivial matters. But you taught us that every word they say must be stored because from words, information is derived, and information means an increase in our database about this person. These programs brought a significant leap in our information base. People started talking more through these programs than with their mouths, and this became an endless flow of information. Instead of just text chat, we introduced voice and video chat as well, bringing programs like 2ICU and Skype to the scene. This increased the demand for microphones and cameras, which had previously been neglected in stores. Naturally, all their voice and video conversations were stored with us, but the more insidious part was that by purchasing these microphones and cameras, we planted a surveillance device in each of their homes. None of them realized that their conversations in their rooms were being recorded by us, and their images in their rooms. These devices are constantly open, and the fool thinks that he is the one opening and closing them whenever he pleases. Then we presented to the world two sites, one called Facebook and the other Twitter. Through them, we got to know their friends and relatives, and how close they are to them, saw their pictures, and learned about their likes, favorite music, movies, political affiliations, and events they attended or will attend. We could write their history, their positions, and their feelings. Yes, Facebook and Twitter were a great breakthrough, causing the second surge in our database, which expanded tremendously. When we felt the need for more pictures, we created a site specifically for them called Instagram, where they eagerly uploaded their pictures. Then, feeling the need to see them in videos in short clips, we created Keek, where they recorded themselves in various moods. It was wonderful, sir. You don't know what we accomplished because of you, oh great one. Then came the third breakthrough, smartphones, phones equipped with cameras and containing all our inventions from email and chat programs to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and everything else. Thus, it became easier for someone to use these wonderful discoveries wherever they went. We introduced a chat program smarter than all the old ones, a program that became their slaves, a program we called WhatsApp. The camera and microphone in those phones function just like their old counterparts in the computer. We have now planted surveillance devices in their pockets instead of their rooms. Under your guidance, sir, we have created the largest espionage network in all of history. The most beautiful thing, oh great one, is that this network grants us access to the secrets of individuals and companies alike. All companies, whether small or large, limited or giant corporations, operate using the internet. Although companies have their encrypted internet systems, it is a system whose foundations and encryption methods we have laid. Consequently, the secrets of all the companies in the world are in our hands here. Didn't I tell you that you are a genius, sir? It's not just the companies. Banks also operate with their own highly encrypted internet networks to safeguard the enormous amounts of money they hold. As you taught us, sir, we ensured that banks are entirely dependent on the encrypted internet. They would be paralyzed if something were to happen to this system. Since we are the masters of this system, the world's money is under our control. The world's money and companies are under our control, sir, and this means that at any moment, we can paralyze everything. Because we are the masters of the entire system, as you taught us, we now control the entire world's economy. Sensitive state agencies such as intelligence services, the Ministry of War, the Army, and the Interior Ministry all transmit their secrets through an internet system developed specifically for them. They always boast that their system is unbreakable no matter what happens. Of course, it is unbreakable because we made it unbreakable. We created it and sealed its loopholes. The great espionage network you commanded us to create, sir, has reached the point of spying on states, both great and small. We have dominated individuals, companies, banks, armies, and nations. You taught us that knowledge is power, and now we know everything. We now have a complete database containing the entire world's population. If you search for the name of a person you want, their name appears based on the information extracted from their various accounts, their real name pulled from the civil status database in their country, and their private photos stored on their personal device or mobile phone, as well as their public photos uploaded online. It includes their government documents sourced from all governmental agencies in their country, all their videos, both private and public, detailed information about them and their relatives, their educational, governmental, and criminal history, details about the organizations they worked for, their work schedules, salaries, and absences as extracted from those organizations' databases. We also have detailed information about all their banking transactions, including dates, places of purchases with their bank card, what they bought, and for how much. Information about their friends, artistic, political, literary, and sexual preferences, which we know through their search history on various search engines like Google. You can see all their written, audio, and video conversations conducted on their computer or mobile phone with dates and details, as well as complete recordings of all their phone conversations throughout their entire life. The websites they visited are listed by day, hour, and minute. Finally, it reveals all the recordings made by their smartphone or computer, audio recordings by the microphone or video recordings by the camera. In short, sir, the person you want is completely revealed, even if they are the president of a country. There is nothing preventing your return to us, our King and Great One. The whole world is now ready to receive you. The entire world has submitted to you, with its individuals, companies, money, and military. It has submitted with its weapons, intelligence, banks, and satellites. It has submitted its secrets, soldiers, and stock exchanges. It has submitted its institutions, operations, and information. It has submitted to your greatness. The entire world, sir, has submitted to your greatness, all of it, sir. So come forth to us, for we have waited long enough. Our great Lord, our King, permit me to call you by your great name, to which all the world's institutions have bowed down. Your name, which will be the Savior of this miserable world, for you are the Christ, you are the Savior. The name you taught us to call you by, my great Lord, is Antichristos, a name with a Latin origin, and Latin is the origin of all languages. The Hebrew speakers call you Hamashiach, the Western languages call you Antichrist, and the Eastern languages call you Messiah, the false Messiah.
I hear a commotion outside. I can't tell if it's a commotion of people or demons. All the charms I designed to protect me have collapsed. My friend, I am now witnessing the last minutes of my life. Do you understand now, my friend? Do you understand? Do you understand why they want to build the sacred temple and who the Messiah they are eagerly waiting for is? It is the Antichrist. It is not a name but a title, and no one knows his real name yet. As I told you, they do not believe in God or the true Messiah. The God they worship is the light-bearer, the devil Lucifer. They do everything they have done in the world so that the Messiah of Lucifer, the son of Lucifer, the Antichrist, will descend to them and rule the entire world and unleash the demons. Do you understand now? The temple they claim exists is imaginary, a temple made in the shape of a six-pointed star, the famous star of the devil that they falsely call the Star of David, from which the prophet David is completely innocent. Are you asking me who Spy is? Well, I will tell you. She is a demon mentioned in the sayings of Muhammad, and her name is, the commotion has doubled, then tripled, and all the commotions have approached the door of my small room. There is no time to explain Spy to you. If you don't believe a word, read about the NSA and the Office of Awareness Information, and I looked at the door knowing it would be the last time. They have come. They do not let anyone who has reached an advanced Masonic level leave it in one piece. This is not permitted in their law. Farewell, a human who reads these lines. Remember to burn this book after reading it. Burn it, my friend, so they do not come after you as they came after me. Burn it, my friend, for they have entered and are now taking me away, my room. Burn it and imprint its words in your mind so you know the truth. And don't let anyone deceive you. Don't let anyone deceive you, my friend. And remember my name well, Bobby Frank. News from a newspaper issued the next day. A brutal murder was discovered of the young American, Bobby Frank, a resident of Chicago. He was found melted into a burning mass in a bath filled with caustic soda, acid. The young man was from one of the finest Jewish families in America. There are rumors that he was an advanced member of the Illuminati organization, but no one confirmed this news, especially since these theories are always spread by conspiracy theorists and often have no basis in truth. It was said that the organization killed him because he wanted to withdraw from it and threatened to expose its secrets. Supporting their claims were some strange items found in Bobby's room, items supposedly used for magical purposes. However, Chicago security detective Rex Watson managed to arrest the perpetrators, who confessed to committing the crime but kept the secret of their accomplices, making it impossible to know the entity they belonged to. Interestingly, an unknown but seemingly powerful entity hired Clarence Darrow, the greatest lawyer in the United States, to defend the killers and prevented Rex Watson, the investigator in the case, from attending court sessions and even being present in Chicago during the trial under the pretext that he was bribed by Bobby's wealthy family and was trying to meet the judges secretly. Subsequently, this inspector was completely removed from the police force. The case was closed as a revenge attempt by the killers against Bobby due to some financial issues. The strange thing is that many playing cards were found scattered here and there on Bobby's table. However, there were 3 cards placed very carefully on his table. The first card had Pandemic of Demons written on it and featured a grotesque image of demons descending upon a city, filling the streets, clinging to poles and rooftops, and flying through the air, ferocious demons. The second card had Bigfoot written on it, depicting the well-known creature with thick hair, referred to by locals in America as Bigfoot. The third card had Antichrist written on it and showed a king who appeared wise, wearing a magnificent crown on his head. No one understood the meaning of these specific cards being placed there. It also came to our knowledge that our master, and the son of our master, and we were 6, and our master was the 7th. No one else knows about our master and the son of our master. And now it is time for you to know, human, because your fate after reading this no longer concerns us. We are not terrifying ghosts. We are beings of exquisite beauty. Beauty you have never seen before and will never see again. If you do not believe this, we can kill you if we want to kill you. We can give you life if we want to give you life. We hear you. Do you think you are clever enough to reveal our secret without us knowing? Let me tell you more than this. We know what you will do even before you do it. We hear your inner thoughts, and our hell is a real hell. So listen to our last story with you, and your last story with us. Says Mastema, the Jewish demon. I had the honor of witnessing the birth of my master, the growth of my master, and the genius of my master, Antichristos. I used to hover over the dwellings of the Israelites during the time of Pharaoh Moses. Their homes were simple and poor back then, Pharaoh Moses would kill all the male newborns one year and leave them alive the next year, so their lineage wouldn't be completely cut off as they were servants. It was in the year when the newborns were left alive that I flew into one of the poor Jewish homes. How sacred that home was to me, for it witnessed the birth of my master, the son of my master, the birth of Antichristos. His father was a Jewish man with a long nose like a beak, and his mother was a large Jewish woman with a great chest and long hands. They had been married for 30 years without children and had seemingly given up hope. I cannot tell you details unfit for your ears, but suffice it to say that this large Jewish woman was restlessly lying in bed one night when she dreamt of a strange man coming to her, and she felt as if a meteor of fire was cast into her womb. I saw the full truth. The truth is that while the woman was restlessly lying in bed, her long-nosed husband stood beside their bed, filling the room with satanic rituals you need not know about. What happened during those rituals is beyond your comprehension. After about an hour, the man was sweating and exhausted from reading incantations, and my master descended into that atmosphere with unmatched splendor and grandeur. My master Lucifer descended into that sacred house, looked upon that sacred womb, and cast into it the sacred seed. Then he rose with unmatched splendor and grandeur, while the long-nosed man finished his rituals and hurried to erase all traces from the room. As for the large Jewish woman, in reality, she had transitioned from the state of sleep to another state, the sacred coma. Thus was the sacred union between my great master Lucifer and a woman from the Israelites, a woman who thought she was carrying her son, but in reality, she was carrying the son of the devil, Antichristos. It was the hardest pregnancy any woman on earth had ever experienced, lasting 12 months to the day. It was the longest and most painful pregnancy, filled with labor, suffering, and pain. Throughout her pregnancy, she was the most hostile and insane woman ever to walk the earth. When she finally gave birth after such torment, screaming, and blood, he emerged with all his sacredness and beauty. She looked at him and saw something strange in his eyes, though she did not understand what it was. However, she quickly turned her attention away from these unimportant observations because of a commotion outside that she recognized well. It was Pharaoh's soldiers, invading the homes of the Israelites and killing all their newborns. We were now in the year when newborns were being killed. The large woman hid her baby in her clothes and ran toward the mountains. She climbed what her large body could barely manage until she found a cave that she believed was safe. There, she left her baby, planning to return periodically to feed and water him. She left and returned to her dwelling, but when she came back to the cave, she did not find her baby. She screamed, cried, and despaired. Little did she know that an angel had carried him to a safer place. Not just any angel, but Gabriel, the great archangel, who fed him milk, honey, and butter. Gabriel continued to feed and care for him until he grew and became a young man. His hair was black, extremely curly and long, tangled with widely spaced legs. He could see humans, jinn, and demons as well as angels, and they all saw him. He does not age or grow old. He is the Lord of the jinn and the Lord of the demons, and he has only one Lord, his father Lucifer. Upon his head was a form that appeared to you as if it were the head of a snake or its root. I do not know how to make it closer to your mind, but his head always gave me this suggestion. Says the demon Baphomet, worshipped by the Knights Templar, my master lived in pharaonic Egypt and learned knowledge that no human or jinn could comprehend, only a mind like my master's. His father Lucifer taught him and the wise jinn. I cannot speak of the details of my master Antichristos's life in Egypt, but I can say that when he learned to ride the sea, he decided to sail from pharaonic Egypt and explore the world around him. He traveled between countries and peoples, learning and observing until he sailed to Yemen, specifically to a group of islands with a strange name, the Hanish Islands in Yemen, or the Islands of the Serpent. From these islands, he chose one island to be his permanent forever eternity. And it came to pass in that time that the Egyptian pharaohs were preparing a great ship for a long sea voyage. They placed on that ship 500 of Egypt's bravest men, most skilled and knowledgeable in the ways of the sea. While these men were on their journey, a fierce storm arose, tossing the ship and carrying it until it collided with rocks in the middle of the angry sea. Everyone on board perished, except for one man who clung to a wooden plank from the shattered ship. He drifted with the current, hanging onto the plank for 3 days and 3 nights until the current carried him to the shore of an island. The man woke up after a long ordeal of hunger and thirst on the beach of the island, fortunate that it was sandy and hot. However, it was truly a lush island unlike any he had seen in his entire life. The island was full of animals of every kind and color, and it had all kinds of fruits, some familiar and others unknown to him. He began to hunt animals for their meat, cooked and ate both the meat and fish, and offered grilled sacrifices to the Egyptian goddess he worshipped out of gratitude for his safety and good fortune. Suddenly, the earth shook, the trees trembled, and a man appeared before him wearing a beautiful golden robe. The man was terrified by the magnitude of the surprise. The Egyptian man did not know that he was the first of mankind to set foot on the island of my master, the island of Antichristos. In a voice filled with power and authority, my master said to him, "From where did you come, O man?" The sailor, in awe and trembling at the power and greatness of my master, "I came from the land of Egypt. I was sailing with my seasoned sailor companions on a ship. Then, the sea became angry with us and threw our ship onto the rocks. It smashed and everyone drowned except me." My master spoke to him in a calm and wise voice. "Do not be dismayed, O Egyptian, for you are safe here on my island. You were the chosen one who survived the catastrophe that claimed the lives of many great Egyptian men. You are the chosen one, O Egyptian." The sailor began to calm down and said, "And where are you from, mighty man?" My master, Antichristos, replied, "It does not matter where I am from. You can call me the Serpent. 70 of my companions lived with me on this island, but a meteor shower fell upon them and burned them all. Only I survived and another young girl." The sailor said, "It seems you are as lucky as I, O Serpent." A ghost of a smile appeared on Antichristos' face as he said to the sailor, "I can foresee, O Egyptian. After 4 months, another ship will come to rescue you and take you back to your homeland." The sailor rejoiced greatly and said, "Really, kind sir? Really? I swear by the greatness of the gods, if what you say happens, I will return to you laden with gifts, treasures, incense, and offerings from Egypt." Antichristos chuckled and said to him, "My island has no need for anything you can bring. And know this, O Egyptian, once you leave my island, you will not be able to return. For my island will disappear into the sea, only to reveal itself to the next chosen wanderer who will be led to it." Antichristos suddenly said, "But, O Egyptian, upon your return to your homeland, you are not allowed to mention that you met a human here. Instead, say that you met a serpent. Let those who believe you believe, and let those who doubt you doubt." The man replied, "As you wish, O serpent." After 4 months, a ship indeed arrived at the island, and Antichristos gifted the Egyptian sailor with many presents and treasures: ivory, coal, perfumes, incense, senna plants, spices, woods, gold, silver, and various animals like giraffes and monkeys, for him to take back to Egypt. The sailor spent 2 months on his new ship, looking back at the island of Antichristos as it dwindled and dwindled until it disappeared completely, just as Antichristos had foretold. And when that man returned to Egypt, he told his story to the vizier, who in turn narrated it to Pharaoh. Pharaoh ordered the chief scribe, Ammonius Ammona, to write it on papyrus. The sailor was rewarded with a high position in the pharaoh's palace, becoming one of the chief officials, as compensation for his ordeal and as a reward for his adventurous spirit. You, O human, have read this papyrus in the modern era, and its name was The Tale of the Lost Sailor. But you did not understand it, O human. The truth that Antichristos mentioned to that man about the 70 companions of his, who were struck by the meteors, is that those companions were demons who served under the command of Antichristos. He had learned that God would send a great prophet among the children of Israel, which angered Antichristos greatly. He ordered all the demons to ascend to the heavens to bring him certain news about that prophet and when he would be sent. Then the tragic event occurred. All the demons were showered with meteors from the sky and were burned, as always happens when any prophet is about to descend. The prophet who was born in those days was Moses. Antichristos was left on the island with only one demoness, whom he called the little girl. This was the demoness spy, who was still a child in those days. Serpent, the Jewish demonic snake, says, I will descend with you to a great scene, which is the greatest of all scenes on earth. The scene of Moses splitting the sea with his staff into two parts, like two raised walls streaming upwards and not downwards. This is a scene that we need to get into your mind. Imagine all the producers of Hollywood coming together in one scene, and all this while Moses leads the children of Israel, who are passing through the split sea, carrying their goods behind Moses. Among them was my Lord, Antichristos the Great. I saw him advancing among the ranks behind Moses. When my Lord knew that the prophet sent was Moses, he insisted on descending to his field and challenging him among his people. I crawled between the feet of the children of Israel in that magnificent scene and watched Antichristos doing something very strange. He could see the angel Gabriel riding his mythical horse, splitting the sea, with Moses behind him and the children of Israel following. As for Antichristos, he was fortunate to notice the trace of Gabriel's horse on the yellow earth turning it green. Antichristos was the only one among all of them who could see Gabriel. He recognized him because he was the one who had cared for him and nurtured him in his childhood. And now he could see the trace of his horse on the earth turning it green. Antichristos bent down and grabbed a handful of Gabriel's trace and put that sacred handful in his belongings. He knew there was a secret in it. After everyone crossed the sea, they began to cross the desert towards the land of Palestine. As they walked, they saw a people worshipping a calf. They said to Moses, "O Moses, make for us a god just like they have gods." Moses angrily replied, "You are an ignorant people. Surely God's punishment will befall these wrongdoers and destroy them. Do you seek other than God as your God when it is He who has favored you over all the worlds and has just delivered you from Pharaoh's family?" Antichristos witnessed this scene and imprisoned it in his mind, until the day came when Moses left his people for Mount Sinai to speak with his Lord. He informed his people that he would return to them after 30 nights. He left his brother Aaron as his deputy among his people. 30 nights passed, but Moses did not return. And night passed, and night passed, and night passed, and Moses did not return. Here, my Lord Antichristos seized the opportunity, the greatest opportunity, with the most genius and cunning. He said to them with his powerful voice, "O people, gather to me the gold that the Egyptians lent you and that you feel guilty about carrying, for I will deliver you from it." The people gathered the gold that they borrowed from the Egyptians, melted it all down, and made from it a magnificent golden calf. I did not know that my Lord Antichristos was an artist. His artistry was greater than the greatest artists. Then my Lord Antichristos took out from his belongings the trace that he had grabbed from Gabriel's horse, and he threw it onto the golden calf. The golden calf instantly transformed into a living golden calf. It was a majestic scene that astonished me, and I couldn't comprehend it at first. Likewise, all the children of Israel were astonished and looked at this miracle with bewildered eyes. In the midst of their amazement, my Lord said to them, "Moses has gone and forgotten that your God is here. This is your great God, O people, and my God, and the God of Moses." They worshipped him eagerly, circled him joyfully, proud and celebrating. Aaron was alarmed and descended among them, saying, "O people, what has led you to this? Fear Allah, the most merciful, your Lord. Leave this thing and follow my command." They said to him, "No, we will not leave our place. We will stay here until Moses returns to us." And suddenly Moses returned. He was astonished by what he saw of the matter of the golden calf, where they were prostrating and worshipping it. Moses became extremely angry, as he was known for his quick temper. He had the tablets on which the Torah was written, received from his Lord on Mount Sinai. He threw all the tablets he had in his hand, and they shattered on the ground. He shouted at his people, "O my people, did your Lord not promise you a good promise? Has the covenant been too long for you? Or did you wish that wrath from your Lord should descend upon you?" His people responded, "Indeed, we have taken the gold of the Egyptians and thrown it into the fire, and this man Samari threw it." Then he seized his brother Aaron by his head and beard and said to him forcefully, "O Aaron, what prevented you, when you saw them going astray, from following my command? Have you disobeyed my order?" Aaron replied, "O son of my mother, do not seize me by my beard or by my head. Indeed, I feared that you would say, 'You caused division among the children of Israel, and you did not observe or await my word.'" Moses left him and turned to Antichristos, who was called the Samari by the children of Israel. The Samari among the children of Israel was the man who was strange to them, and it also meant the man who misleads. This was Moses' confrontation with Antichristos, and I was very excited, watching closely to see what would happen next. Moses said to him calmly yet sternly, "What is your case, O Samari?" Antichristos replied to him calmly yet firmly, "I saw what these people did not see on the day we passed through the sea. I saw that messenger on his legendary horse. I grabbed a handful from the track of his horse and threw it upon this calf, and my soul prompted me to do so." I expected Moses to erupt in anger against Antichristos, given his well-known quick temper, especially in such matters. However, Moses responded to him with an unusual calmness. "Go, O Samari, for in this life you will have a promise of punishment that you will not fail to fulfill. And look at your God, to which you remained devoted. We will burn it and blow its ashes into the sea." It was strange how Moses dealt with Antichristos with such calmness. It seems that Moses knew who Antichristos was and understood that the real confrontation with him was not now, but in another time, a time when it would not be Moses and Pharaoh, a time which is the last 2 lines of the history of humanity.
The devil, spy, says, "If my soul loves talking about itself, I would say that I am a demon who no one on earth has fully known. If I know everyone on earth, I am not a scout, but a real spy. I spy on the news of the earth and its people, and I exaggerate in that, and there is no one among human and jinn who is better than what I do. My demonic body is seen by humans, and they still see it until the modern era, so I am from a tribe of demons who all are like me in appearance, although they differ from me in details. My physiology is simple. Imagine, if you will, a crocodile. Then, imagine this crocodile covered in long, thick hair that blankets its entire body and obscures its face. That is how I am, and that is how we are. You have bestowed upon my tribe in your modern age a peculiar name, Bigfoot. Your choice of moniker only speaks to the ignorance and folly of humanity. You ask me precisely how I gather news. This is something that should not be disclosed. Just know that I know, I observe, and my tribe is not like me. They have their lives, and I have mine. My life is with my master, and he is my master and the master of all. Human footsteps have trodden upon Snake Island twice. Once during the time of Moses, the lost sailor, and the second during the time of Muhammad, the last prophet. Each has their own story. On a stormy night in the Arabian Sea, there was a ship tossed by the waves until its captain lost the ability to determine its location. Whichever way he looked, all he saw was the blue expanse of the sea. The captain attempted to return to any nearby land, but to no avail. Storms followed storms, and the ship remained adrift in the Arabian Sea for a whole month, at the mercy of the waves. Suddenly, the ship washed ashore onto an island, our island, Snake Island. On board were some Arab Christians, numbering 31 men, including a man named Tamim al-Dari. They first sat in the ship's boats until the sun set and the sky turned dark. Then, they entered the island. As soon as they set foot on it, they encountered me. My appearance was very strange to them. They mistook me for an animal and called me a creature. And because my appearance seemed closer to an anatomical study than a human, they spoke to me in astonishment. Woe unto you! What are you? I said to them in their Arabic language simply, I am the Jassasa. They asked me, and what is the Jassasa? I ignored their question and said to them, O people, go to that monastery over there. There is a man who is eager to meet you. The people were terrified of me, so they left me and hurried to that monastery. When they entered, they saw men of great stature and power build in a way they had never seen before in their lives. What was even more strange was that he was bound in restraints they had never seen of such greatness in their lives. His hands were chained behind his neck with iron, and a shackle of iron bound his legs from his knees to his ankles. This was my master, Antichristos, and the story of his binding is not one that I am allowed to tell you. When those Arabs saw that scene, they were terrified and said, Woe unto you! What are you? My master, Antichristos, said to them, I will tell you about myself, but tell me, who are you? They said to him, We are people from the Arabs. We boarded a sea vessel and encountered the raging sea. The waves played with us for a month until we washed ashore on this island of yours. When we entered it, we encountered a hairy creature we didn't know where its front from its back due to its hairiness. They said to him, We are people from the Arabs. We boarded a sea vessel and encountered the raging sea. The waves played with us for a month until we washed ashore on this island of yours. When we entered it, we encountered a hairy creature we didn't know where its front from its back due to its hairiness. My master, Antichristos, said to them, Tell me about the palms of Basan in Palestine. Do they still bear fruit? They said to him, Yes, they still bear fruit. He said to them in a strange accent, Perhaps they are about to stop bearing fruit. Tell me about the Sea of Galilee in Palestine, on the Jordan River. Does it still have water? They said to him, looking at each other with astonished looks, It has plenty of water. He said to them in the same accent, Perhaps its water is about to disappear. Tell me about the spring of Zugar in the Jordan Valley in Palestine as well. Does the spring have water? Do its people irrigate from the water of the spring? They said, all those questions making them feel uneasy. Yes, it has plenty of water, and its people irrigate from it. My master, Antichristos, said to them slowly, Tell me about the prophet of the Gentiles. What did he do? They said to him, He left Mecca and settled in Yathrib, now Medina. My master, Antichristos, narrowed his eyes and asked, Did the Arabs fight him? They replied, Yes, they fought him. Antichristos continued, And how did he deal with them? They said, He was victorious over those who fought him from the Arabs, and they obeyed him. Antichristos questioned, Was that rightfully so? They affirmed, Yes. Antichristos pondered, Wasn't it better for them to obey him? Then he declared loudly, I inform you now about my affair. I am the Messiah, and soon permission will be granted to me to go out to the earth. I will leave and travel in it, not spending more than 40 nights in any place, except Mecca and Medina, for they are forbidden to me. Every time I attempt to enter either of them, an angel will confront me with a sword in his hand, preventing me from entering. Each of them is guarded by angels in every pass. The people were terrified by his words, hastened away, and left the island. One of them went to the prophet of the Gentiles, Muhammad, and embraced Islam. He narrated to him everything that happened with him regarding our island. Muhammad rejoiced greatly at his words and related his account to his companions.
Lucifer, the great demon and bearer of the greatest light, speaks. You are the son of Satan, Antichristos, the son of Lucifer, the son of Iblis, and the bearer of the seed of light. For you, I have caused every temptation on earth until the day of judgment. You belong to both humans and jinn. You have become a pride for the jinn, a pride for humans, and a pride for your Lord. You were created between fire and clay, in the womb of Judaism. The earth, with its humans and jinn, is nothing compared to you. Soon permission will be granted for you to be released, and you will roam the earth as you once did. You will come from the east, from the city of Isfahan in Iran, and the first to follow you will be 70,000 Jews, each wearing a shawl called talith, the shawl known to be worn by high-ranking Freemasons of the 33rd degree, who belong to the 13th Jewish tribe, the tribe of Zion. Your soldiers have prepared the entire earth for your grand exit, leaders of nations and governments, above them the kings of wealth, and the guardians of sorcery. They will display wonders to the people after hiding them. There will be no one left on the face of the earth except those who follow you, only a few. From the east you will descend upon the earth with demons in front of you, behind you, to your right, and to your left. They are the soldiers for your exalted position among the jinn. They will speak to the people on your behalf. Behind you will crawl serpent, and above you, Mastema's cloak will flutter. You will command the sky to rain, the earth to yield crops, and the wombs to bear offspring. You will kill whom you wish and give life to whom you wish, with the grasp of the messenger's steed. You will command the vigilant jinn, the guardians of treasures within the earth, to bring them out, and they will come out for you like the offspring of bees. The jinn and humans will see in you their God, and they will prostrate to you. You will teach them that all their religions are myths, speaking of doubtful matters. You will show them paradise before their eyes and show them hell. You will show them that whoever believes in your covenant will attain immediate bliss, not the uncertain bliss of the hereafter. Do not be dismayed, for as soon as you claim to be the Lord, those worshipped by people as the Lord will fight against you. By his power, he will wipe one of your eyes so that it becomes wiped away in your face, neither prominent nor sunken. And he will place a green nail over your other eye to hide its pupil, making it appear like a green glass eye, like a floating grape. Then the worshippers of the Lord will recognize you, and they will never follow you. But they are few, and they will not delay your bondage even by a tiny fraction. You are the Messiah, and you are the God of humans and jinn. You are my son, and whoever worships my son has worshipped me. Whoever honors my son has honored me, and whoever honors me, I will bestow upon him gifts he couldn't even wish for. Descend, O Christ, for in every step you take from me, there is a blessing. Descend and wipe out the corrupt beliefs of people and establish one single creed, a global system where you are the ruler. Descend, O Christ, and fulfill my promise that I made to the Lord over 10,000 years ago, on the day when I abandoned my good intentions for humankind. I promised him that I would lead the sons of Adam astray, from in front of them, from behind them, from their right and their left. And most of them will not be grateful. Indeed, most of them will follow me wherever I lead them, to the land of burning. So descend, O Christ, for whoever cannot perform your work throughout all these long years does not deserve to live.